And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, if you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. And today we're currently featuring over 3,600 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting. A 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher level of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically. And in addition, we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. These are run as directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR, specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA 5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. We pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
This is Kilo Juliet 4, Zulu Echo Oscar.
Zulu Echo, and what was the last one?
Oscar.
Roger, Zulu Echo Oscar. Come back with your call sign phonetically, slowly, please.
Kilo Juliet 4, Zulu Echo Oscar.
Roger, Zulu Echo Oscar. What's the name there?
Name is William, and we're in Flat Rock, North Carolina, sir.
Roger, North Carolina. And what radio are you running there?
I have Kenwood 890.
Oh, roger that, William. And if you would, why don't you give me about 10 seconds, tell me about your antenna there, and let me see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Well, I'm actually going to switch antennas before we... and you tell me if it improves.
Alrighty.
Antenna number 2, antenna number 2.
All right, go back to 1.
Antenna 1, antenna 1.
Roger, it looks to be about a dB to 2 dB hotter on 1 than 2. 1 looks a little bit better than 2, Roger, but they're both very similar, Roger.
Roger, well, I appreciate it because I'm actually, I put together a DX Commander. I bought it last year and finally put it together. And it's been a while since I ran it vertical, but for a minute I thought it was deaf because the noise floor I just got back inside, and, you know, I looked at coax, I looked at connectors, I switched connectors. Anyway, I appreciate your time with the other internet number. I appreciate you. Maybe it's just location where it is, but I mean, the noise floor, well, it just doesn't hear the same, and I know it's not going to, but I thought there was something wrong with it. Over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, you know, sometimes vertical antennas are quieter than horizontal antennas. They just seem to be quieter, but doesn't necessarily mean that their radiation power is greater than a horizontal. And about the only way you can tell is, you know, down the road 300 or 400 miles. Roger, Roger.
You know, down the road 300 or 400 miles. Roger, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. And with someone like you who said, hey, if you have a question, I was like, that's the person I'm looking for.
Oh, Roger that. So, gosh, there, William, if you need a little assistance on that setup, we might want to check the transmit bandwidth to be sure that we're in that wide mode, 100 to 2900. Sometimes things can happen there that we wind up on a lesser mode than 100 to 2900, and if we don't check it every once in a while, we could be operating in a deficit, so to speak, because 100 to 2900 will let that transmitter be all that it can be, and then give you just a slice of daylight there to make sure you don't get into somebody else's conversation. Roger?
Make sure you don't get into somebody else's conversation. Roger?
Roger, I believe my bandwidth to transmit 300 to 2800 is where I've got it.
Yes, sir. No, you don't want that. You want your 100 to 2900. That will let your transmitter operate at its best capability. That other is a lesser setting that you don't want. 100 to 2900, and you should have three options there, usually, and one of those options is 100 to 2900, and it's called wide because it does let your transmitter operate in its best condition. Roger?
It does let your transmitter operate in its best condition. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, we'll hunt that down, but I kind of purposely, in previous understanding, didn't want to waste too much time on a bunch of lows or highs that did not matter and focus my wattage on a more narrow bandwidth was my previous understanding.
Roger, Roger. Well, listen, the 2900 is the higher the frequency that you can get there, the more articulated your audio is going to be. As you start in those lesser bands, like 2800, 2700, 2600, you're rolling off the top end of your audio spectrum, of your transmit capability. So what you really want is the thing called wide, 100 to 2900, and that will let your top end, where all the articulation is, be as best it can be. 100 to 2900. It's called wide.
It can be 100 to 2900. It's called wide.
All right, Roger. We'll certainly look into that. Make it one of my settings. I have become quite interested as to where audio begins and RF ends, so that was quite opportune. I appreciate it.
Oh, Roger that. And if you're not sure where it is, it's in menu, settings, transmit, sideband, in that area there. Roger, Roger.
Sideband in that area there. Roger, roger.
Oh, no, I know where it is, because I have gone in and changed it. And you can have three, four different profiles on this thing. I enjoy playing with all those things, because I think a lot of people could complain about their equipment, but if you really didn't go in there and not be afraid to play with your knobs, just I think you're doing yourself an injustice, Roger.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm copying you right now about 3 dB over my noise level, so I'm hoping that along the way we might find something that kind of pulls your level up a little bit. Usually the first thing is the transmit bandwidth. The next would be the compressor processor, and we recommend a 3 on that. If you go past a 3 on the compression processor, it starts to pump between the words, and that doesn't do anybody any good. So we recommend a 3 on the compressor processor. It's a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how it's labeled, Roger.
3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how it's labeled, Roger.
Roger. Well, that's where my compressor is around now. It rarely goes above 5.
Roger, roger. Well, it starts to pump. It starts to pump after 3, so and that doesn't really do anybody any good. As a matter of fact, some people find that suck up between words kind of irritating. So that's why we suggest a 3. It's probably the best point that you're going to find on that compressor as far as working actually on the word and not sucking up between the words. So 3 on the compressor processor or 30 depending on how it's labeled, and then into our ALC. As you look at the ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and you say the magic word audio, you become a human test tone generator. And as you look at that ALC meter, we want to put that in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3 by way of mic gain manipulation as you say the word audio. Roger, we're not necessarily interested in the back half of that word. It's just the part that gives you the tone, steady state tone to set your modulation level. Roger?
Steady state tone to set your modulation level. Roger?
All right, Roger. I'm on it could be 8. And there's a compression again. I'm barely getting any movement, but I did widen from 100 to 2900. Did you notice?
Yes, sir. Just a slight, but every little bit counts when you're talking about the upper parts of your audio spectrum in your modulation, because that's where all the articulation is. And articulation is the name of the game. I mean, you've heard stations that are so loud, they're terribly loud, but they're muffled. I mean, you can't understand hardly what they're saying because they don't have any top end in their audio. So that's the thing about the 100 to 2900. It allows you to transmit the best top end possible for maximum articulation. Roger?
For maximum articulation. Roger?
Okay, Roger. And then I did turn off the equalizer just to see if that's because I normally emphasize the high, barely emphasize the mids, and kind of just keep the lows just at 0. But now I turn that off and we're just running flat with 100 to 2900. Roger?
Roger. So, we could probably get you sounding a little bit better if you go to that equalizer. Is that a 2-band equalizer, 3-band, or 8-band, or what kind of equalizer do you have there?
Is there a 3-band or 8-band, or what kind of equalizer do you have there?
We can go from 300 to 29. I can adjust each. I can adjust each parameter on its own. I just don't have a preset.
Roger, Roger. So you're saying you have an 8-band EQ or 3-band EQ or what?
So you're saying you have an 8-band EQ or 3-band EQ or what?
Hello.
All right, I got 0.3,
Hello.
0.9, 1.2, 1.5, 1.8, 2.1, 2.4, 2.7, all the way up to 5.1, sir.
All right, sir. So what we're looking for is to keep everything in the mids flat, plus or minus 0. So everything from 400 cycles up to 1.4 or 1.5 should be in the flat mode or off. So we preserve our mid-range as flat with no push or no cut. Roger, Roger.
With no push or no cut. Roger, Roger.
All right, we're there. Yes.
All right, so then we go up to the top-end EQ there, around 25. We're actually looking for 2700 as the push treble frequency, 2.7 kilohertz as the push frequency for your treble EQ. Roger?
Kilohertz as the push frequency for your treble EQ. Roger?
Roger, and I had that at plus 5 now.
Yes, sir, at 2.7?
Yes, sir, at 2.7?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, do you have a width control? Can you dial in a 4 as far as the width's concerned?
Can you dial in a 4 as far as the width's concerned?
So that would be 2.7 kilohertz as the push frequency, 4 as the width, and I think we might want to come up to do you have a 7? Can you push a 7 as far as that 2.7? Can you make it plus 7 on that EQ?
Plus 7 on that EQ.
But I had a gazing that did that.
Double. Almost perfect double.
Yeah, we doubled, I think, sir. Come back.
All right. Well,
yeah, we doubled, I think, sir. Come back.
I've got 2.4, 2.7, 3.0. I do not see where the width of the adjustment. I had a gauge that did that, but right now I don't think that I control the width except for going to station.
Roger, Roger. Well, some radios do have a width control, which determines the shape of the equalization curve. A 4 is kind of broader on either side of 2.7 than a 1. So if you do not have a shape control of, that's fine. It's just that it would make it just a little bit better if we could put it as a 4, a 2.7 kilohertz boost at 4. But if you do not have a shaper, then we would say make that a 7 as far as the push level. Roger?
Yeah, make that a 7 as far as the push level. Roger?
Okay, as far as I can push is a plus 6. Plus 6 is the max point. Well, I would assume across.
All right, so let's, if you still have a good copy, I'm kind of losing you a little bit, but maybe that's just momentary. Do you still have a good copy on me?
Momentary. Do you still have a good copy on me?
Yes, I have a perfectly good copy on you, sir.
All right, sir, so let's go to the base frequency, the lower one. It should be like 100 or 200 cycles right at the moment. We're looking for 200 cycles in that low frequency EQ, the base EQ, or number 1. We're looking for 200 hertz. Roger?
1, we're looking for 200 hertz. Roger?
Okay, well, I got the lowest I have is 300, then it goes to 0.
Yes, sir. Well, can you put in 200? Can you put in 200 instead of 300?
Can you put in 200? Can you put in 200 instead of 300?
Hey, dummy.
Roger. Most radios do allow you to put in those frequencies. Just try it one time. See if you can put in 200 where it says 300.
Just try it one time. See if you can put in 200 where it says 300.
Negative. That is not adjustable. But I did.
Gosh, William, you have faded out pretty well. I do not have a copy on you now. Try come back one more time and see if conditions have changed, Roger.
Roger, this is KJ4ZEO.
Ah, that was better there. My gosh, that came up pretty well. So you cannot insert 200 in place of 300 on your base EQ. Is that a Roger?
That is a Roger. However, I do have a 0 option, so I'm just going to assume that it's allowing that width that you were referring to earlier. I bumped up 0 to +5, and I've got 0.3 at a +3.
Right. Well, usually what we want to do is try to keep those flat. To start to see what we got there. So can you get those in the flat configuration on the base end, Roger?
Roger, we are back to flat here in North Carolina.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'm not... here's the other thing, too. Do you happen to have a P set of controls? You know, a lot of radios switch to a P set of controls when you're running your compressor processor. So look around in that EQ area and make sure you don't have a P set of EQ controls that will go into effect if you're in the compressor processor.
Roger, I understand your question, of course, because my Jesus had that. I don't see where there's two separate equalizer controls in this radio. Compressor, no compressor. In this radio, I do have a compressor input and a compressor output option once we start going into compressor, which has always kind of confused me on a Kenworth.
Roger. Well, the output should be a 3 or a 5, right in that area there. You know, it should be kind of reciprocal to the input. That if you're running a 3 in, you might try looking and see if you have a 3 out or a 5 out, somewhere in that area. Roger?
Roger, well, currently, if we're going to go talking about the processor, I have an input of 38 and an output of 41. In those settings, I'm going to use the word correspond with the compressor meter barely hitting the 5. And then the ALC bouncing around 8, 7, 8, maybe 9 on explosives.
Yeah, Roger. So, you know, that's within ballpark of what we were talking about. But a 3, I think, input to that compressor would be better than exactly where you are now, because we're just looking for about a 3 or 4 dB manipulation from the compressor processor. Very, very light just barely there, 3 or 4 dB. So usually with a 3 in and a 4 out, you would be right at about a 3 or 4 dB manipulation on your compressor processor. Roger, Roger? All right, so if your level has fallen down, what you want to do is go back to your ALC meter as you say the word audio and adjust your mic level until your ALC level is in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3. Roger?
Kilo Juliet 4, testing audio. Alright, well I had to turn my mic all the way up on that one, and the compressor is bouncing much lighter. Did you notice any difference, sir?
Not after you adjusted your ALC. You were back up to 100% modulation after you adjusted your ALC. But, you know, that output can come up to a 5 if you want it. You know, it's just a trim pot on the output of your compressor processor. So if you wanted, if you're running a 4, you could run that up to a 5. Then you would need to go back to your ALC meter and adjust your mic level down a little bit until you're back in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3 on the ALC meter. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. That's okay. That's a little... Kilo Juliet 4 Zulu Echo Oscar. Okay.
Roger, and it's easier to set, I found, using that word audio because it's a steady state tone. It's not a word or words that are bouncing all around. It's a very steady tone, and it's so easy to adjust your mic level into the sweet spot on the ALC meter at 7 or 2/3. Roger?
Yeah, Roger. Well, if you like that, and I don't know, by the way, I'm William, and I think you may be the fella that I've heard for years that comes on and helps people with their audio. So I just think it's stupendous that I bumped into you, but before both of us maybe have to run out of time or something, let's go back, if you don't mind. I know you're steering me, but let's go back, because the only thing on my equalizers I've adjusted is that 2.7 kilohertz, and then we left off with the bass flat.
Roger. Okay, what is your max push capability on your treble EQ 2.7? Can you go to plus 10?
Negative. I'm at plus 6, and that's the roof.
That's the max push?
Roger.
Okay, so then we need to take a little bit off the bottom end because your EQ curve is leaning a little bit towards the bottom. I was hoping that we maybe had some more in the top to bring up the syllabic range, but and the problem is that we need to ideally get that bass frequency EQ down to 200 hertz. If we could get that down to 200 hertz, we would go to like a -5, and then your EQ curve, I think, would be just perfect there. But we are having some problems getting into that 200. Because 300 is too high. 300 is too high. 200 is just absolutely perfect for doing that bottom EQ roll-off. Roger?
Okay, Roger. Well, again, I think here I'm understanding about your audio frequency width question. Actually, I'm going to assume the reason they had 0 as one of the kilohertz because it's probably going to go up from 0 to 200. So I turned that one down to -3, and then at the 300 kilohertz, I just bumped it down to -1, and I don't know if you can tell any difference.
Roger, William. Well, let's try this. On that 0 base EQ there, try putting in 200 on that 0 EQ at the moment. Try putting a 200 in that 0. Will it take that?
Negative. It doesn't give me an option to change that. I mean, it's just there's a column, if you will, on the transmit equalizer adjustment column from 0 to 5.1 kilohertz.
Roger. Okay, so just to put 0 as 0, no cut, no whatever, I guess, and do that 300 as a -4. 300 is a -4, and let me hear it.
-4 from Kilo Juliet 4 Zulu Echo Oscar.
Roger, and the other question is, how close might you be to the microphone? Maybe we could pull off an inch or two further off mic, back from the mic, to see if we could reduce some of the low frequency operation of that microphone. Because the further you get back from the mic, there's a bass roll off that occurs. So maybe 2 inches further back than what you normally do. And let me hear that from you, Roger.
This is about 2 inches less than where I was.
All right, so then go back to your ALC and adjust for 100%, 7 or 2/3 on the sweet spot of your ALC to bring your level back up. As you pull off mic, your audio level drops and your bass frequency drops off.
All right, we're adjusting. I don't know, I increased the mic gain here. I'm still in the habit of poking my head forward, trying not to do that, but audio,
I think it's sounding pretty good there. Just go ahead and set your level like you normally would. Audio, don't stress it. Just say it like you would say any other word in a QSO, and adjust your mic level until the ALC meter's in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3. Roger?
Roger. What say you now?
All right, you're pushing pretty hard on that. Don't push quite so hard when you set that level. You try to use a level that you would use as any other word in a QSO, Roger?
All right, I understood. And I did turn it down. But then I'm still resting around 5 on my ALC now.
Okay, so I think you're still pushing hard because when you say the word I adjust for 0 level on my, I've got a VU meter coming off the audio of my 7300, so I can adjust for 0 level as you say the word audio, and then when you start speaking after you've set the level, you're about 3 dB lower as your speech level is versus your audio set level, so you're probably still pushing too hard on that, Roger? Roger. Now, tell me about your antenna system for about 10 seconds, and let me listen to you for a minute.
All right. Just got done building a DX Commander, and I do have a X-beam in the driveway we want to put up in the spring. My favorite to put up in the spring. Basic off-center fed dipole. I think you can't go wrong with that. If you don't think you're going in the right direction, just change how you hung it, and then you'll get a different direction. KJ4ZEO.
Roger William. Well, what I would do is I would leave my ALC meter out for a while, and you've got to have something to do as you talk to your friends and neighbors around the world. So I would leave my ALC meter out and concentrate on trying to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3 as much as possible. And you might have to adjust your mic level just a little bit, but the whole game is to try to keep that ALC meter in the sweet spot as much as possible. And over a period of a couple of weeks or so, you'll probably be able to command that ALC into the sweet spot just with your voice. Roger?
Roger, and I certainly appreciate your help, but I've missed 2 phone calls trying my best not to get off of here because I think it's great. But could I get your call sign so that I can maybe send you an email, please?
Oh, Roger. Call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. KC9VKV. Name is Jim, Juliet India Mike, and we're located down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger?
Roger. Well, I appreciate it, Jim, and I believe you are the one that I've heard over the years helping people in this fashion, and I ordinarily would have ignored this phone call, but they keep blowing me up, and I am a property manager, so hopefully nothing is wrong with some apartment.
Oh, roger that. Well, William, let me let you go, sir. I think we've, been, along the trail there, and we've got some good stuff. And we've been recording all along. And if you want to hear your recording, if you go to YouTube and do the call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3600, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, Jim. Well, I appreciate, you taking the time, and I'm actually happy. I've heard you try to help other people. I think it's you, and they really didn't know where to go. So I was happy that I've been playing with this radio for the last 3 months and kind of knew what you were telling me to do and where to go and which button to hit, so I could follow along, which is quite helpful. Anyway, appreciate it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope to speak to you further down the log, sir. KJ4ZEO. Roger,
William 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by, and I wish you luck there. Just remember, keep that ALC meter out, and try to keep your voice in the sweet spot of 7 or 2/3 as much as possible. That will be the best thing for your station, I think. 73, sir. Catch you later. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
This is AF1US.
Station calling, come back again, please.
Alpha Fox 1, Uniform Sierra.
Station ending in Sierra. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign.
This is Alpha Foxtrot 1, Uniform Sierra.
Uniform Sierra, Roger, what's the name?
Name is Brian, Bravo Radio, India Alpha November.
That was Brian, Roger?
Roger that, Jim. Brian.
Roger, Brian, and what's your location, sir?
I'm in Northwest Tennessee.
Station, sir?
I'm in Northwest Tennessee, a town of Paris, Tennessee. QSL?
Roger, and what radio are you running?
Roger, and what radio are you running?
I am running the the Yaesu FTDX 101 Mike Papa.
101 MP, Roger?
101 MP, Roger?
Roger.
Alrighty, sir, if you're interested in our setup, it starts with you making sure that you're in that wide transmit bandwidth, TBW, 100 to 2900, Roger?
Transmit bandwidth, TBW, 100 to 2900, Roger?
Roger. I'm in that 100 to 2900. I have a wider setting, but that's what I'm in. What I'm actually interested in is a little bit of feedback on this mic element. I installed a DX/contest mic element in my Heil Pro 7 headset, and I'm just wanting a little feedback on that. It should be low on the bass and kind of punchy up at the mids and highs.
It is a nice curve. Maybe we could check that's a headset. Roger.
Maybe we could check that's a headset. Roger.
Roger. I normally use a Heil PR40 and a separate pair of headsets, but I wanted to get a good contesting element and a DX element to swap out on these Heil Pro 7s. And I've gotten some good reports from some local parks on the air. It's only been on here for about 24 hours, so that's what I'm looking for, maybe a little adjustments on that.
Yes, sir. Sounds really good. Now, maybe we should check a couple of things on your compressor processor. Should be on at a 3, at a 3 out of 10, or 30 out of 100. We just want a few decibels of compression processing. So, again, your compressor processor on at a 3 out of 10, or 30 out of 100. Roger?
On at a 3 out of 10, or 30 out of 100. Roger?
Roger that, and that's where I'm sitting. And my ALC is, I don't know if you're familiar with the Yaesu meter, but it doesn't really have too many numbers. It's a white scale and a blue scale, and it's about 90% of the white scale.
Roger, so we should be about 2/3 of the ALC meter. We should be about 2/3 as your sweet spot. Roger?
We should be about 2/3 as your sweet spot. Roger?
Roger, and that's the question, is on the Yaesu, like I said, there's just a white band and a blue band. There's no, and then there's a gap between the two. So are you talking about 2/3 of the white or 2/3 of all the way into the blue?
I would say 2/3 all the way into the blue. However, I'm looking at your audio now on a VU meter out of my 7300 audio, and you're looking great. So I wouldn't change a thing on your ALC. It looks to be adjusted perfectly for a 3 dB dynamic range. And what that means is that unprocessed audio is running a 10 dB dynamic range. So then as we start to process it for broadcast or for audio, for transmit, we want to fatten that up and reduce the 10 dB dynamic range to a 3 dB dynamic range. So that means that it's fairly fat, but it does have, the words do have some life to them. The thing is, words that are up against the wall, that have no life, are they're just very difficult to understand because they're so up against the wall, as far as levels concerned. So 80 to 85% of average percent of peak modulation gives you about a 3 dB dynamic range for the life of the words and comprehension of what they are. Roger?
Life of the words and comprehension of what they are. Roger?
Yeah, Roger, QSL on that. As I mentioned, I normally run a Heil PR40, and I have not changed the audio settings from the PR40 to this element or this headset. Actually, Bob Heil gave me these settings for my microphone and said they should be good enough for both of them. But that was when I was running a dynamic, just a standard wideband element on this Pro 7. And now I'm running the Contest DX, so I just wondered if there was any significant difference in that, and should I mess with it? But it sounds good to me.
Roger. Well, if you want to set your level, if you go, you're looking at your ALC meter, as you say the word audio, and adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is reading 2/3 of its capability. Roger, that will be equal to 7 or 2/3. Roger?
Yeah, QSL. I've done that waiver. I'm not happy with where it sits, and I think it's doing fine where it sits. I'm just wondering about the audio curve, if you will, the voice curve.
Roger, where you have excellent intelligibility. It's not real heavy in the bottom end, but it does have a bottom end, but it does sound, I think, really good for, communication. It's not, real tinny. It just sounds, to me, very, very natural, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. Could you hold this 1 second and let me swap out to the PR40 and see, and that's the whole purpose of this DX microphone. They took away a lot of the bass curve and then punched it up in the top so that you could buzz through the pileups and that kind of thing. I'll do it to swap this microphone real quick and then just get your feedback on this if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead. We're standing by and we are recording, so we have recorded the headset mic and we'll be able to compare it with a direct swap into your other desk mic. So.
KC9VKV AF1US.
Okay, so this mic is a lot heavier on the bottom side than your headset mic, but it still sounds good, Roger.
Yeah, QSL. This is the Heil PR40. It's been a very good mic for me for many years, and as I mentioned, I was a couple of years ago at a Dayton Hamvention. Bob Heil and I were talking about some kind of old mutual friends of ours, and I was asking him about settings, and he took the time to give me settings for this radio matched up to this microphone, and I've had really good results ever since, but it should be a lot more fuller than the other microphone, QSL.
Yes, sir. Now, what I would suggest would be to back off that mic a couple of inches more than where you are, and that would lower that bottom end. I'm looking at your signal also on a spectrum analyzer, and it is rolling off there right at 100 cycles. But maybe, if you backed off about an inch or two more on that microphone, it would drop that bottom end a little bit more, Roger.
Yeah, Roger that. You called it exactly. I was leaning in on the microphone a lot closer than I normally was. I've actually got a pop filter on here so that it keeps me away from it, but I got a little close to it that time. But this is me at my normal level where I normally close to it that time. But this is me at my normal level where I normally do my QSOs and make my.
Roger. Now, I have a chevron on the right side of my screen that shows where my audio is coming from. I've been mainly in my local 7300 audio out, but I do have another SDR receiver that I go to, and of course these SDR receivers are nice, but they do roll off the bottom end there at about 250 cycles or 200 cycles or so. So they do not have the bottom end that this 7300 does at 100 cycles. I think the 7300 is rated, the receiver is 100 cycles, and likewise the transmitter. So I'm listening to a house system that has a subwoofer, so I'm good to down to 40 cycles, and so it's really, really nice, and I think you'll enjoy your recording there that will show both aspects of your modulation, both the headset audio and your desk type mic. Roger?
Audio and your desk type mic. Roger?
Yeah, Roger that. And on that recording, I just switched my radio. That's the broadcast wide. So that's the broadcast mode on single sideband, if you will. So I was wondering if that made any difference at all.
Roger. Well, I'm copying the mail now on the SDR, and it sounds great. I went to my local receiver, but the propagation was not quite as good as on the SDR at the moment. Roger?
Was not quite as good as on the SDR at the moment. Roger?
Yeah, QSL. By the way,
Yeah, man, it's amazing. You have just disappeared from my 7300 audio, but you're on my SDR at looks like about 10 over from my noise level. I use this VU meter in multitudes of ways because I'm running a very light RF front end on my 7300, so it's my S meter is no longer calibrated. So I set level on my VU meter at 0. When you're speaking, that's 100%, and then when you stop speaking, the meter falls back to read the ambient channel noise, and you look to be about 8 dB above my local noise level. Roger?
About 8 dB above my...
I just realized that I was talking without my amplifier, so I turned my amplifier back on, and I'm pointing at you, but you're about a 20 to 22 dB over S9 on your signal, just to let you know where you are. But did that make any difference at all when I went to 3,000 wide from 2,800?
Oh yeah, it really did. You're back in the saddle there on my 7300. Really sounds good, Roger. I wish you had maybe. Let's see. Where would your top NDQ be on that mic? Your desk mic. It might use a little, since it's got such a much fuller bottom end. You might want to consider getting some more top end in there for balance, Roger.
Yeah, Roger, I can roll off I can do a low cut. There's 18 dB low cut slope off it. Did that change anything?
That sounds really good. Like I say, we are recording, so you be the judge, Roger.
Okay, very good. I think I'm going to leave that on that 18 dB per octave because I don't like to be really bassy, and I'm listening to my monitor with my headsets on. I like to be really bassy, and I'm listening to my monitor with my headsets on, and...
Yes, sir. Well, I'm going back and forth between my my 7300 audio out and my SDR. I think it's the Kentucky SDR up around Cincinnati. It's on the Kentucky side of the Ohio River, right at Cincinnati. That's the SDR that I'm using. And you were gangbusters into both of those. Obviously, a little lighter on the bottom end on the SDR because of that roll-off, Roger.
Oh, Roger. Well, I know it's doing its job then. The default is 6 dB per octave.
Roger, well, I know it's doing its job then. The default is 6 dB per octave.
And I do really appreciate your help, and I look forward to listening to the audio. I did write down the link that you passed the other gentleman, and that you said that you would get them on by like tomorrow afternoon, or I'll check back a couple of times to see where it is. And do you have a time hack for me?
It's it's been about 4:15, 4:30, somewhere in there.
Okay. Is that a real world time? Yeah, I see. I'm at 15:30, so yeah, that's a real world time. Okay. I was talking about a time in the tape, in the video.
That's it. It's probably we start at 3:30. So there's a clock on the wall in my studio that will tell the time that it is. So our conversation probably went about 4:15 to 4:30, Roger. So just on the upper left-hand side, there's a clock, Roger.
Okay, very good. That's very convenient when you do it that way. And I've written down the time and look forward to it. So I do appreciate it. You've provided me with some valuable feedback, and look forward to talking to you again real soon. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. This is AF1US. Back to you for a final, sir.
Roger, sir. And let's see here. There's a spectrum analyzer on the set, so you can see your audio curve, and then there's also an input source indicator on the lower right-hand side that will show you when I'm on my 7300 versus receiving off an SDR. Roger.
Roger. Thank you very much, and I will take a look at those and be very excited to get the experience. I do appreciate it.
Roger, sir. Well, 73, you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
KR4IDW.
IDW, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Romeo 4 India Delta Whiskey.
Roger, Roger, IDW, and what's the name there?
Name's Steve, Jim. Spoke to you last week and the week before. You helped me get this ICOM 7300 set up real well. We were doing good with it, and I just added another piece to it, and I wanted to make sure that it didn't distort the setting any at all this week. It's quite a bit more, and I was wondering if the audio still sounded okay to you.
Yes, sir. Now, you're using that hand mic, I'm assuming. It sounds just a little bit further back on your lips, Roger, Roger.
All right. Now, did you want me to move it back?
That was beautiful right there. So whatever you're doing, I just noticed a little bit of garbage there, in your first transmission. But that last one was just absolutely perfect. So I think you're doing well with that hand mic. It's it's just one of those things that you need to operate that mic in a certain way. I'm sure that Bob Heil would want the best reproduction out of that mic, and that occurs when you do bring it to the corner of your lips and talk across it, Roger.
Roger, yeah. Well, let me add this to it, what I put on it here. Let me turn that drive up just a little bit there, and I want to make sure that doesn't distort it right there any at all.
No, sir. Now, what radio is it that, first off, where are you, Steve?
Well, I'm over here in Louisville, right across the river from you in the south end of Louisville in the Fairdale area.
Roger, Roger. And that radio is 7300?
Yes, sir. The radio is a 7300, and I've got a piece behind it that I wanted to add and make sure that it didn't distort the audio any at all, and I've got that in there now, and it's turned up.
Sounds good. It's quite warm. You're probably right around 2 dB dynamic range. It's a little bit hotter than what I would normally suggest, but I don't copy any major distortion. So, the only thing is, if you look at that ALC meter as you set your level audio, and you want to be at the 7 or 2/3 on your ALC meter, Roger?
Roger.
And that will keep you out of distortion. That's a nice setting for 3 dB dynamic range. And when you hit a 3 dB dynamic range, and that's a culmination between your compressor on at a 3, very light compression, and then adjusting your mic level for a 7 or 2/3 on your ALC. Then you are into a 3 dB dynamic range, which is a nice fat signal with no distortion. Roger?
Roger. I sure appreciate it. Yeah, I was wanting to make sure I kept clear linearity between the radio and the piece afterwards. And I'm glad to see that it's working all right. I sure appreciate your time and all your effort that you put into helping everybody out here, helping us keep our audio straight.
Yes, sir. Well, you're just beautiful, and I think you'll love your recording. If you go to YouTube and do that call letter search, KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3600, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow, Roger.
I sure appreciate it very much. And you have a very, we've already had a very Merry Christmas, but you have a Happy New Year, sir.
Yes, sir. 73 to you, sir, and Merry Christmas. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Station ending in hotel. Come back slowly, phonetically with your call sign.
Whiskey 4, Uniform November Hotel.
Uniform November Hotel. Roger, what's the name? Uniform November Hotel, what's the name? I think you may have hit your VFO. I don't know, but anyway, Uniform November Hotel, do you copy? Uniform November Hotel, Uniform November Hotel, Uniform November Hotel. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor, Kilo Victor. Do you copy? Uniform November Hotel has bit the dust. This is KC9VKV, the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Alpha Charlie 9, Quebec 5.
Kilo 4, Romeo India.
Romeo India, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo 4, Romeo India.
Romeo India, Roger, what's the name?
The name is James here in Silver, North Carolina. Over.
Did you say James?
Affirmative on that. It is James. Over.
Roger, James, and what's your location, sir?
I am in Silver, North Carolina, up in the mountains. Over.
Roger, in the mountains in North Carolina. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running a Yasu FT710. Over.
Roger, 710. Okay, so what we want to do is maybe check out a few things if you're interested. The first would be the transfer bandwidth. We want that to be in the wide 100 to 2900 mode. It's called wide 100 to 2900. Roger?
Roger on that.
And if you're unfamiliar with that, that's in settings. Transmit sideband in that area, Roger.
Yes, Roger. I will. It's a fairly new radio to me, and I'm still learning on it. So, but I will check it out. Over.
Okay, sir. And then to your compressor processor, we want that on at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100. Just a very light touch on your compressor processor. On at a 3 out of 10 or 30 out of 100, depending on how it's labeled. Roger?
Roger on that. I'm writing all of this down so I can go back and pull my book up and reference it. Over.
Roger, Roger. Okay, so then onto your ALC. And as you say the word audio, you become a human test tone generator. And with mic gain in hand, as you say the word audio, adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is running 7 or 2/3. 7 or 2/3 is the sweet spot on your ALC meter as you adjust your mic level as you say the word audio. And you speak that word just as you would speak any other word in the QSO. Don't stress it, just say it like you would normally say any other word in the QSO. Roger?
Roger on that. Also, what was the number on the wide again? Over?
100 to 2900. 100 to 2900. Roger, should be there. Matter of fact, if that's a newer radio, it probably is there, but then it might not be. So it's important for us to be determining that it is in the wide mode. Roger?
Roger on that. I appreciate that very much. Look forward to getting the book and checking all of this out. Over. I appreciate the comeback. Over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Now, let's see here. On the EQ, you might need just a little more treble. So I would say plus 3 clicks additional treble EQ from where you are, plus 3 clicks additional boost on the treble EQ from where you are. Roger?
Roger on that. Appreciate it.
Okay, and then on the, if you have a 3-band and we're talking about the mid EQ, it should be flat or off. In other words, we want the mid frequencies to pass without anything happening to them. We want to preserve those. So your mid EQ, which would be number 2, probably, should be either off or flat, plus or minus 0. Roger?
Roger on that. I appreciate it.
Okay, so then onto the bass EQ control. We're looking, if you can adjust your frequency, we want 200 hertz on that bass EQ, 200 hertz minus 5 level, minus 5. And if you have a width control, we want that on a 4. So what that means is your bass EQ number 1 should have a width of 4, should have a frequency of 200, and should have a -5 attenuation. Roger?
Roger on that. My bass frequency 200 with a -5, and my width at a 4. Over.
Yes, sir. I think that would do fine. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday, and we'll take a look at all them numbers, and I think they'll be fine. But, if you can give me a shout next Friday, we'll listen in. Roger?
Roger on that. I appreciate it very much. I'll look forward to it. Over.
Roger, Roger. And in the meantime, if you want to listen to your audio as it is, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3600, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Roger, appreciate it. Over.
Yes, sir. 73 there. James, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. Roger?
Roger, 73 to you. This is Kilo 4, Romeo India, out on yours.
Roger, Roger, Romeo India, 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Alpha Charlie 9.
There's an Alpha Charlie 9. Come back slowly, phonetically, with your call sign.
Roger. The call is Alpha Charlie number 9, Quebec Mike, KC9QM.
Roger, QM, and what's the name there?
My name is Rick, and I'm located in Hartford City, Indiana, probably a couple of 100 miles north of you. Over.
Roger, Rick. Okay, so we're on 7188.00. 7188.00. Roger?
Roger, that's what my dial's showing. Am I not there?
Sounds just a little high. What's the radio that you're running?
I'm running a Kenwood, a TS-830S, over.
How old is that radio?
It's a hybrid, back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Yes, it sounds just a little high. It's not critical. You are in the area. Just sounds a little high, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. What can I do to correct that? Over.
Probably put it in the shop and let them work on it for a moment. To just, it's like I said, it's very slight. It's just the words are slightly bent up, pitched up, just a little bit. Roger.
I cut the microphone back a little bit. Does that make a difference?
No, it's not. It's not the audio volume. It's the transmit frequency. So just like I said, it's very close, but it is off just a tad on the high side. Roger.
Roger. I have the compressor on. Is that not going to change anything?
No, sir. No. It's what the radio is doing, and on the frequency that it's transmitting on. But and like I say, it's not critical. It's not that far off frequency. If you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording, and I'll have it. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3600, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, I've been listening to you there the past couple of weeks, and I thought maybe you could help me out, but that's the problem. I didn't really have anybody to give me any kind of a decent audio report there, Roger.
Roger. Now, you might try just going one way or the other on your VFO, just a very minute up or down on your frequency VFO, and let me hear the difference, Roger.
Roger, there's 187, just touching the 9, over.
Okay, so go back the other way.
There's 188.1, over.
Did you go the equal amount the other way?
I did, I believe.
That still sounds high, so go down frequency one click.
Okay, there's about one click there.
That's it right there.
Okay, so yeah, that's going to be tough to tell there when you're broadcasting and you can't hear yourself there, over.
Well, just keep in mind that you might be one click different than what it should be. So, and make note of where you had to go to make it right. And I would start at that position, Roger.
Okay. Well, you sound like you're right in there in the band range there. In other words, no distortion. I don't know what your normal sounding voice is, but it sounds okay to me, over.
Yes, sir. Well, that's probably in the guts of the VFO that's driving both the receiver and the transmitter. That sounds like that's where the error is. So when you went to that other frequency, the higher or low frequency, whatever it was, it cleared up both the transmit and receive problem because it's a matrix that feeds both of those facilities. Roger, transmit and receive. Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, there's no place here where I live there's nobody that works on radio. Here where I live there's nobody that works on radios, especially these old tube radios. So I would have to locate some place that either I could deliver it. Certainly, I don't know about shipping it. Things are pretty heavy there, and. But anyway, if that sounds okay, well, I appreciate that, over.
Yes, sir. So what is your frequency now? What is the frequency of the transmitter now?
What is your frequency now? What is the frequency of the transmitter now?
Yeah, it's right on 188.0.
Oh, it is 188.0 now?
Oh, it is 188.0 now?
Roger, 188.0.
Well, you're on frequency then, partner. You are on frequency, so there is no discrepancy. You must have been off a click or so earlier, Roger.
Must have been off a click or so earlier, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. This VFO is really touchy, and if you just barely touch it, it will change there, over.
Yes, sir. Well, do you have a readout, a tube readout there of what the frequency is?
A tube readout there of what the frequency is?
Just the VFO screen there. I don't know whether you're familiar with the 830 or not, but it's a digital reading there right above the VFO.
Oh, Roger. Well, it sounds good, and if that's showing 7188, then you're right on frequency. So you do not have a problem, Roger.
You're right on frequency. So you do not have a problem, Roger.
Okay, I'll be excited to hear the recording. I've never heard it before. I also have a couple of other radios here, but I won't try that today. I try that next Friday. I've got a 7300. And I've also got a FT450 Yaesu. So maybe next week I'll fire up the 7300. I was listening to you last week, so I tried to set the radio, the menu, for the information that you were instructing, and I don't know how close I got it, but I know when I go audio, it's right there around 7 there on the ALC.
Yes, sir. I'm looking at your audio now, and you're just perfect. You 3 dB dynamic range, which means that your average percent of peak modulation is between 80 and 85%, so it really sounds good. Your audio curve sounds really good, so I wouldn't change a thing. It just sounds really good for that age of radio. Roger.
Really good for that age of radio. Roger.
Yeah, Roger, Jim. Well, man, I sure appreciate you taking the time to help me out with that. And like I said, I have never heard this radio on the air, so I had no clue as to how it sounded. And basically, trying to set it up without actually hearing it's pretty tough to do, but I like what you're telling me, so I'm not going to touch anything there. Roger, Jim?
Yes, sir, I wouldn't. And also, when you go to my YouTube website, there are a lot of radios in that group. There's 3,600 radios, well, maybe not 3,600, but at least 3,000 or so, that all have audio tracks and things that we did. So you might look up some other 7,300s, to do some pre-work on your situation there, like I say, if you go to YouTube, do the call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording, and this recording will be cut number 1 in a series of 3,600, but there are others, down the line that are 7,300s that you might listen to also while you're there. So 73 there, Rick, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, Roger.
Rick, and you have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend, Roger.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much, and I'll see you next Friday around 2:30 there, and maybe you can listen up on through the 7,300 and see what we need to do to fix that there if there's a problem with it. Have a great day, and hopefully I'll catch you again. You're tough to get into there, I know that. I tried several times. And I'm only a little over 100 watts, so that's probably a lot of stations running amplifiers, and I'm not. And I don't have one. But anyway, 73, have a good day, and thank you very much. KC9VKV, a C9QM, Rick up here in Indiana, 73.
Roger, Rick, 73, sir, and we were copying the mail that last on SDR up around Cincinnati, on the Kentucky side of the Ohio River, right at Cincinnati. So we had a really good copy on you. It looked to be about 10 or 12 over my over their noise level, so it was really, really good. My local receiver had some other folks talking that, it's really amazing that they would be on the frequency after we've been transmitting for about an hour and a half. I don't understand quite how that happens, but you never know. Things are strange when you're moving west. So 73, Rick, and if you get a chance to join us next Friday, we'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 0 Delta Romeo Hotel.
Delta Romeo Hotel, is that a Roger?
That's Roger. Whiskey 0 Delta Romeo Hotel.
Delta Romeo Hotel, Roger. If you would, sir, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and let me see if I can find a better path for us, Roger.
Find a better path for us, Roger.
Short antenna, and it slopes downwards from a walkout basement down a hill. The situation. How copy?
Roger. I'm on my local 7300, and you're about a dB and a half above my noise levels. Pretty light, but if you can copy me, what is the name there? Yeah, I can't pull you out right now. conditions are not that good. So let me say 73, sir. Maybe next Friday we'll have better conditions. And I am running about 2 SDRs short at the moment, so maybe you might be in the one of the other SDRs pattern. So we'll try that next Friday. 73. And gosh, if folks are out there that participated, want to hear their audio, if you go to YouTube and do that call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3600, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. So with all that being said, let's return the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.